can't stop. I have to keep my mind moving because I feel like if I stop, I'll be in this again, and I'll kind of realize, hey, I still have this thing and I don't understand it, and I don't understand why I feel this way. I mean, that's all beside the point. It just becomes really a thing where if you don't have any mental, like if you're like distant from the world, you tend to just try to use your, because I already kind of feel like my body is the tool for my soul. I guess that's the best way to explain it, is I feel like I'm using my hands and my legs and my body as more of a tool as I'm looking through the lenses of my eyes. It's hard to explain this. I don't know if I'm reaching any, I don't even think this makes any sense to anybody, but the way I see it is then if my soul is working this body like a machine, then I might as well just use it as a tool. If I can't be in it, like feel like I'm in it, that's kind of how I feel. So whatever, that's just how it is. I'll analyze it this way. Just to say this, as a Christian, some people might think, oh, he's demon possessed, or he's got oppression, or some kind of a demonic thing. Well, I'm not really. I'm a pretty boring guy. I do normal stuff. I'm a Christian, and I believe that Jesus Christ saved us. And on top of that, I don't go out and do any extra kind of crazy sins, and I always repent of anything that I do when I do sin, and I'm always trying to do better, and I'm just like any other Christian as far as I'm concerned. And I don't really do anything nuts, I pray in the shower usually. That's just seems like where I've reached God a few times. That's just what I do. I'll pray over my wife when we're laying in a bed at night, and it's just stuff like that. And I constantly pray for me and my wife, for God's protection over our house and our food, and just stuff like that. And so I don't think that it's anything to do with that, especially since I've had it since I was a kid, and I don't know what would have made me deserve to be, cursed for my life with whatever this issue is. So I don't think it's anything like that. So if there's anyone that's dealing with this like that, it seems like it doesn't have to do specifically with a curse on you because of the way you've been doing things or whatever. I don't know. I just want everyone to understand that I'm not under like trauma-based mind control or whatever, or some kind of satanic mind control system, or like MK Ultra or Nazi type of thing where I have split personalities. I don't have any of that stuff. What I believe, honestly, I think what actually brings this stuff on, the more I think about it, is the knowledge of like when you find out more stuff about like the New World Order, or the shock that you get to your system when you realize that something's not the way you have seen it for your whole life. Like you've seen something, like in 2007 when I first found out about like 9/11 and all the things that were not making sense with that, and how it just wasn't adding up, stuff like that. So then I start to go, you know what, maybe there's more to that, and maybe that's what kind of brought me, that I think that's what might have put me further into this shock thing, because I still every day, I mean, when I hear about news and stuff, I just can't believe that this is real, So I think that might be part of the depersonalization disorder, and I think that that's what might be making some people have this. Some people say it's because some kind of fear or really hard stress or whatever that separates them kind of to makes them like this. I don't know, because I'm not constantly stressing out about the New World Order. I'm not freaking out about it. I get upset about some of the stuff that I see. I guess, I don't know. Like I said, I don't have all the answers. I'm just trying to reach somebody out there who might be dealing with this, who doesn't feel like anybody's dealing with, and they don't know how to explain it because no doctor understands it. Most doctors will just tell you have depression. It's not that. I mean, it gets depressing. Yeah, everybody gets depressed. I get depressed sometimes. I mean, as a Christian, I get depressed because I'm looking at the world and going, I just feel further and further from the world, in a sense, through the eyes of a Christian, because in reality, Christians are getting further and further from the world if they're following Jesus, because you should be separating yourself from the world, It's not disassociative to be like that. It's just you're in the world. You're not of the world if you're a Christian, because your kingdom is in heaven. I just wanted to point out that those are some thoughts to think about if you're dealing with this, because look at some of the like the podcasts you're listening to, if they're like Alex Jones or Hagman even, some of those can be pretty stressful, and it could be, a lot of doom porn and a lot of doom and destruction coming all the time, and it can be pretty shocking to your system, and you can constantly be like, oh my God, what am I going to do? We got to be prepared for everything. Well, it's not that way, because I listen to that stuff, and I used to be freaked out about stuff like that, but I don't worry about it. I know people probably think I worry about it. I mean, I don't have really any family that really gets it. If my family they don't understand. They just look at this, or look at my belief system or my Christian views or my ideas of like what I post on Facebook or whatever. My family will never talk to me about anything. They just don't want to know. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to think about it. They don't want to know about Christ, for the most part. I'm not saying all of my family, but very few, like my mom and dad and my sister, are like the only ones who are willing to even kind of go down this road a little bit. And my sister really doesn't very much either. And my dad, he gets mad at me and says it's gossip. If you just post the news, that's gossip. I guess everything that you see on TV is gossip. Even the regular news that you're getting. Even the brainwashing that you're getting from the news. So I guess everything's gossip and hearsay, so you can't prove nothing, so there's nothing's real. So me and my dad get in arguments about this when I talk to them on the phone, because it's just, I don't get it. He just wants me to not expose anything, just keep quiet and just go with the system, And I'm like, Dad, what are you going to do when they're microchipping everybody? What are you going to do then? Just keep quiet and go with the system and lose your soul. It's going to be a hard day, but I know that houses will be divided in the end times. It says that right in the Bible, that father will be against son, or daughter will be against mother. It's not really that they're going to be against. I'm sure there'll be people turning each other in too, to the government. But I think it also will be when families will not hear the truth. They just don't want to hear it. And I really struggle with this, because my own family is kind of like a lot of my family members. They just alienate me. They just like, whatever. I'll put it this way. If I post anything on Facebook, the only people that like the thing or, comment or, talk to me about it are usually my fringe Christian community friends, and even sometimes my wife's Filipino family in the Philippines. None of my family, and they're all on there, but they're like ghosts. I'm just being honest, and that's the way I am, okay? It's just how it is. I'm sure there's a lot of Christians out there that are feeling alienated by their own family as well, so it's not like I'm saying anything new. I'm not bitter at them, I'm not upset at them, whatever, that's the way they are, but at one point, you have to kind of just wipe the dust off your feet and go to another place to preach a message, because if the message if they don't want to hear it, then they don't want to hear it. I can't make them, believe in anything. I mean, I've tried to kind of like slide some of this stuff in when it comes up in conversations, because a lot of them like to watch the news, and, they don't understand what's going on in the world. It doesn't make any sense. They don't understand our government's not working for us the way they should be, and it's stuff like that. And it's like, well, it's because of the New World Order, but you don't want to know about that, so I guess you're just lost. You don't want to hear about it. You don't want to hear that there's satanic people in government, because that's a conspiracy and that's crazy. There's no way that a cult could be running a government. Not like Nazi Germany. That could never happen here. Stuff like that. I don't know. It just drives me nuts. You tell somebody that fluoride's bad for you, and then they tell you, oh, but it's in our toothpaste. It's good for you. It whitens your teeth. And I'll be like, you know what? Why don't you look up what the Nazis were using fluoride for? And they just don't want us to talk about it. The conversation just ends. Or if you say anything about how you have faith in Jesus Christ even, then it's like quiet, crickets, no one wants to talk. That's just my personal life. I don't even know why I started on that rant or whatever. I think that's about it for the show. I don't think that there's anything else I need to say, or I'm really going on for no reason. I'm getting over a sickness, and I had fluid behind my eardrums that made me dizzy, I guess. And I'm still getting over the dizziness, but boy, I was so dizzy I couldn't even stand up. I was just, I think it was because of my allergies or whatever started. But I think that's about it for the show. If you enjoy this show, please feel free to share it. You can find us on Spreaker, iTunes, and most podcatchers. And if you'd like to support the show, please leave a review on iTunes or Spreaker or wherever you find this show. And for more information on this show, go to the Fringianity Underground podcast Facebook group and like us. Images will be posted there for this show and others as well. Please check Spreaker or wherever you get this podcast every Sunday evening for new episodes. And thank you for listening.